have the power! Well, not exactly the sword, but, well, I do have actually the sword, but I wasn't going to bring that big ass thing down here. Well, we got a new He-Man movie coming out, but I could not, watch that movie without giving my thoughts on the original Masters of the Universe, and we're going to talk about it right now. Well, hello everyone, welcome to Pop Culture Vortex. I am your host, Alex Pinto, and it is my privilege to welcome you to my channel, as today we are going to be talking Masters of the Universe. Yes, the original, I believe, 1987 film, right, starring Dolph Lundgren, Frank Langella, and Courtney Cox. Yep, a new movie is coming out this weekend. Yes, Masters of the Universe is getting another movie after, I believe, about almost 40 years. I cannot wait. It's been one of my most, one of my most anticipated movies of the year. Alright, I'm a huge He-Man fan. I love the original 80s cartoon. I do quite like the 2000X series. And I really do like Masters of the Universe Revelations and Revolutions, despite how controversial they were. But yeah, I've always loved He-Man. And I also do love Thundercats. In fact, I do own the comic book issues where they had a crossover. That was pretty fucking awesome. So there is that. I remember this movie. Okay, so for years I kind of almost refused to watch this movie because, I heard many things about it. There are a lot of people who don't like this film, and I wasn't sure I was gonna like it. Okay, as I guess I'm a huge fan, and it was I don't want to see a movie that could potentially piss me off and say it's disrespectful to the lore and stuff. But whatever. I decided one day, you know what? I'm gonna sit down and watch this movie. So I did. And as I was watching, I was like, why am I actually kind of liking this movie? And I was watching, I was like, wow. And the more I watch, I cannot deny, this movie is a huge guilty pleasure of mine. I flippin' adore this movie. Okay, is the movie definitively good? No, it is not good. Okay? But this movie is just pure 80s cheese, okay? It's fun. Okay, I fucking love watching this movie. No matter how many times I watch it, I don't even have to be drunk to watch this movie. I can watch this movie sober, and I have a good time watching it. I was literally just watching it a few hours ago for this review, and I still have fun watching this movie. Just had a cup of coffee, and it was entertaining. Okay, so there's that. But in terms of okay, let's talk about, say, the negatives. Let's get those out of the way, because there is negatives in this movie. First of all, world building. It's really not there. In terms of Eternia world building, you literally just see the outside of Castle Grayskull maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the whole movie. You never see Snake Mountain despite it being mentioned, and Eternia just looks like an empty desert. Okay, nothing like what it looks like in the cartoons or any comic books. Okay, it's just... yeah, it's just an empty desert, and so what this movie does not contain, you do not have Prince Adam turning into He-Man. Okay, so he's just He-Man throughout the whole film. Okay, he's not a prince or anything, so you don't see a King Randor, you don't even have a Cringer. Okay, you do have Teela and Man-at-Arms. Okay, and they look pretty cool, despite not looking like their cartoon counterparts, but still, they look cool. Okay? Now, instead of Orko, we have Gwildor. Yeah, Gwildor is basically the Orko of this movie, but instead of him being this magical floating around dude, right? He's just he's essentially a locksmith, if you will, right? He builds stuff. He managed to invent this interdimensional device where he just plays some music, and then it just transports him to different universes and stuff, which is okay, a little stupid, but I can dig it. Okay, and of course, and the acting, Dolph Lundgren, back in the day, he could not act. Dolph Lundgren, we love him for a lot of things, alright? He definitely brought in that tough guy persona in a lot of his movies, okay? And, he definitely played a great villain in Rocky IV, but his acting was never his strong suit. The guy had personality and charm. For his movies, of course, we do love his fight scenes and stuff, but yeah, whenever he does talk in this movie, he's a little bit rough, okay? So there's that, and of course, some dated visual effects. You know, and of course, Skeletor's design. I mean, we'll get to more. I'll dive into Skeletor in a bit, but like, yeah, his design is like, it's kind of dumb, but okay. But like, certain things save, and we'll talk about in a bit. Okay, and characters like the Beastman and stuff like that are very much underutilized. Okay, so there's that. Plus, other things that, like I said, the world building of Eternia is not very good, but the reason for that also is that majority of the movie is, of course, on Earth instead of Eternia. We only spend like maybe, I don't even know. I think Eternia maybe has like a good 15 minutes of screen time throughout this whole movie, maybe at most. So like, yeah, I mean, I guess I would have liked it to have taken place on Eternia, but still, nevertheless, it takes place on Earth, so there's that. Yeah, and of course, certain characters were like kind of like thrown in there, like Courtney Cox's character and all that stuff. Like, we don't really care as much for those. They do try and add in this whole thing that Courtney Cox lost her parents in a plane crash or something like that, and she's still dealing with that grief and stuff. And then by the end, of course, they resolve that by basically resetting the timeline and she just changes their, the time, she just changes their death, alright? So like they don't die in this new timeline, so they do that at the end. But anyways, so I guess we'll just get those negatives out of the way. Positives, despite the action being a little dated, it's still entertaining to watch. Okay, like yes, like you kind of, even the cheesy effects, okay, you kind of look past them. It's a fun time to watch. Okay, like whenever Dolph Lundgren is not talking, he's just doing action. It's quite good, actually. I really do like some choreography moments are just not bad. Okay, like for an '80s film, they're not bad. Okay, and and despite me not really caring so much about Courtney Cox's character, her acting is quite good in this movie. It's not bad. Like who's like a seasoned actor and who's not, and Dolph Lundgren is clearly not like, his acting is not his thing for sure. But like he's still entertaining to watch. Okay. And of course, one thing I'll say, I think the real heart of this movie is Frank Langella as Skeletor. Look, despite the design and like that rubbery face he has, like, it's not very good, but his performance, his voice and everything, he kills it. Like, you look past, the prosthetic makeup and it's just, honestly, he is so menacing as the character, like from every line delivery and everything. It's so damn good. Like, just like forget the fact that he's playing Skeletor. Even if it was just any other character, that performance works super well, and it's what I feel like that's what really drives that movie is, his performance throughout. He's really menacing as that character. He's quite scary. And so that's really what really saves this movie, and I feel like that's really why I enjoy this movie. Okay, and of course, look, I cannot deny, every time Dolph Lundgren manages to get the sword and he yells, "I have the power," it's epic. That moment is epic as fuck, okay? Like, the final fight they have is like, okay, it's not the best choreographed fight, but still entertaining to watch. Okay, like, especially the music. And I'll say, the music of this movie, okay? The orchestral music by Bill Conti, who's also the guy who did the Rocky movies. Pretty interesting. I really like it. They really tried giving this movie kind of like a Richard Donner Superman kind of vibe, especially from the opening intro. And I do like that they took that route. I guess it makes sense for a He-Man movie. Because basically He-Man in his own right is kind of, whoever invented He-Man, it was like their own version of Superman, if you will. The Boy Scout and all that stuff who says all these weird, cheesy lines. Yeah, like, it was basically their own version of Superman. And so, but I guess that's what I really liked about He-Man as a kid. Okay, but I feel like, but once again, like, you also have Frank Langella, and I really do love the Gwildor character. He's quite funny. Okay, now, there is this one weird scene I have to mention. Like, so Gwildor steals, I guess some meat. I guess there were ribs. A bucket of ribs from this couple making out in a car. Okay, and Teela and Man-at-Arms join him as he's eating those ribs. Whatever the hell they were. And then Teela goes like, what are these sticks? Like, they're bones. Like, wait, this was an animal? And even Gwildor was like, wait, what? Which makes me question, is everyone in Eternia a vegan minus Man-at-Arms? Like, what? So that seems always been weird, okay? Like, you're telling me that they don't eat meat on Eternia? Like, why are two of these guys shocked and one is not? That's always been weird for me. Okay. But yeah, like I said, like, yeah, there is a lot of things wrong with this movie, which is why it has that reputation it has, okay, and why critics do not like this movie. But, like, in terms of, it's just, in reality, it doesn't have a bad story, you know. Skeletor invades Castle Grayskull, holds the sorceress captive, and He-Man has to stop him before he gains the power of the universe. It's not a bad story, you know, maybe not the best executed, but not a bad story, okay, let's just say that. And, like, I do admire what they tried doing with this movie, trying to add, like, some extra layer to the human characters, well, at least, like, the characters from Earth, okay, like, Courtney Cox's character and everything, like, yeah, I get what they were trying to do, but, like, you don't care, because you just want to see He-Man, you know, doing some action. And when you do see He-Man doing some action, it's quite good. Like, it's entertaining to watch. And like I said, this movie really, look, this movie is not Shakespeare. If you just want to sit down, have a good time, and if you are a fan of 80s action, you know, this movie, it does deliver. I'll admit, like, I do watch this movie and I'm thoroughly entertained throughout. Alright, like, this isn't a movie that everybody's going to like. But, you know, of course, lately it has gotten love, especially with this new movie coming out. So, yeah. And despite Dolph Lundgren's bad acting, like I said, his acting's not bad, is not very good, but still, when I see this movie, I'm like, that's He-Man. Dolph Lundgren is the live-action He-Man. Like, physically, he was perfect for the role. You know, he had the blonde hair, he had the big muscles and everything, like, all that stuff. And, you know, his voice worked really well with the character. So, yeah, like, it works for this movie. Okay, like, and the characters are pretty cool. Man-at-Arms is really cool in this movie. He's quite funny at times. Tila is quite badass. Although she does bully Gwildor a little too much in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, so there's that. But, like, you know, and the humor is quite good. Like, when they find that cow, when they're, like, you know, there seems to be alien life, and then they find the cow. It's like, there are moments that are quite funny in this movie. Like, the humor does work in this movie. And it fits the tone, of course. You know, and of course that one police officer, the guy who plays the principal in Back to the Future, you know, he's, like, he could be annoying, but, you know, he is super funny in this movie as well. So, yeah, there's that. So, yeah, and then Eva Lynn is quite good, too. Like, she was, like, I like the design they gave her. Like, very different from the cartoons, right? But still pretty cool. You know, I do like the mercenaries, like Blade. The Beastman that you did, like, the prosthetic makeup they did on the Beastman was quite good. So, yeah, like, those characters, like, they all looked really cool in reality. Like, the design of this movie, like, for these characters is really quite good. And the set design of Castle Grayskull, you know what? It was good. But I will say is, like, one thing I've always questioned is, like, they really don't make He-Man to look all that strong. They almost make him seem like he was just kind of a regular guy. The only time you really see a bit of strength from him is when he's knocking over that statue. Or he's lifting the occasional guy up and throwing it at people. But, like, yeah, but I guess due to budget concerns, I guess they couldn't actually make He-Man do all these things, right? Considering he's meant to be the most powerful man in the universe. Stuff like that. And, of course, that's another thing. You don't hear him say, by the power of Grayskull or anything like that. But he does say, I have the power, and it's great. And I like the way they ended. Of course, like I said, they do this whole thing where, you know, Courtney Cox is back home, but she's transported back in time to the day before her parents died. And, well, she prevents it, and then they ended off with, you know, a blue screen, you know, and the Castle Grayskull projecting, and then, once again, He-Man saying, I have the power. It's really good. It's a good ending, actually. I really do like it. Very 80s. So, yeah. Honestly, check this movie out. Like, it's just literally, do not sit down thinking it's gonna be a Star Wars level movie or anything like that, okay? It's not at that level, okay? Like, there are much better sci-fi movies than this, but still, if you just want to have some fun, check this movie out. Do not go in expecting anything special, but it is super fun. I do love this movie. I can watch it anytime and I get entertained. Okay? Like I said, it's not good, but man, it is super fun to watch. I love this movie. But anyways, guys, what do you think? Right? Do you like this movie too? Alright, like, are you a big He-Man fan like me? Alright, and are you excited for this new movie coming out finally? We are getting a new movie coming out. I cannot wait. Alright, so let me know in the comments how excited you are. Alright, well, thanks for watching. I sure hope you liked this video, and if you did, please hit that like button. And if you want to show your support, hit the subscribe button. Alright, hope you all have a great day, and by the power of Grayskull.